So wait a second, Blizzard has some sort of big secret about Diablo 4. We've got some new official teases about this one. And yes, check out the new Barbarian gameplay in the background that was just officially released. Also, some more updates about the lack of an overlay map not making it into Diablo 4. Let's just say, don't hold your breath for this one. Also, a pretty insane performance mode was revealed for Xbox Series X at 4K, but what about PlayStation 5? And new clarification about those supposed Paladin teases, so let's get into this. Yes, a new update about the live stream happening tomorrow. It is going to be 90 minutes long as they do a deep dive into the in-game class dungeon beta learnings and more. There's going to be a ton on that stream, but what is going on here? Rod Ferguson posted this out, so check it out. It says this, wait. Is this the one with the secret announcement, or are we not talking about that yet? I would hate to give that away. By the way, so glad I'm using Slack right now and not something public like Twitter to ask that. That would be the worst. This is some sort of expert trolling going on here. It just seems like that there is something that they are holding back regarding Diablo 4. I don't know exactly what it is, if it's going to be big or small, but yes, there is some sort of secret that potentially could be revealed in this upcoming stream, or it could be revealed before the launch of the game, or perhaps we'll have to discover ourselves in the game. But I'm kind of curious to see what they are exactly talking about. But there's a lot of theories, of course. We have this one right here, the biggest theory of them all. Paladin class? Secret? What secret are they talking about? May early access, please. That would be absolutely amazing, but don't hold your breath on that one. Mentioning don't hold your breath, we got to talk about that map overlay. It seems like a lot of you guys really want this feature, and it was recently revealed that it is not going to be in the game at launch. But hey, will it ever make it into the game? So check it out right here. We have this one from Dynamite, who says a map overlay did not make the cut. Could we see it in the future? Rod, pretty much every ARPG has it nowadays. And Rod Ferguson says, never say never, but honestly, our hope is to keep refining the map system so that we find the right solutions that don't require covering the entire screen with a map. And I do understand where he's coming from. It kind of takes away from the actual beautiful artwork that they've worked so hard on with the actual open world and the different biomes and the bosses that you actually want to visually see and not have this big map overlay obscuring your vision. On the flip side, I think options are always important. If you don't want to do a map overlay, you don't have to, but if you want that as an option, you should definitely have that as an option. So let's see what they can work on to find as a middle ground for now. I'm curious to see what he means by that. Now, we have this one right here as well. It goes on to say this from the gaming artist who says, hey Rod, what's the performance mode for Diablo 4 on Xbox Series X? Also, is ray tracing going to happen? My preferred performance mode, 4K 1440p 60 frames per second HDR ray tracing mid. And the response from Rod Ferguson is this: 4K 60 frames per second HDR on Series X. Ray tracing is a post-launch feature, so I'm curious to see if ray tracing will actually be making it into the performance mode in some way, shape, or form. Of course, there's a multitude of different ray tracing features they could add for both performance mode and then fidelity mode as well. So here's see what the performance mode will offer, because I myself, I want to keep that 60 frames per second going even when some sort of ray tracing is on. But Robbie, what about the PS5 version of the game? Well, this is all we have to go off of. Check it out. It says, while Ferguson didn't discuss the PS5 version, it's assumed it will also support 4K at 60 frames per second as it did during the beta. The previous generation versions only supported 30 frames per second during the beta, while the PS4 running at 1080p and the Xbox One ran at 900p. So I'm assuming it's going to be the same thing during launch, but it seems like to me for the PS5 and Xbox Series X versions, expect some sort of graphics update post-launch when it comes to ray tracing support, which gets me super excited for console users. Of course, for you PC gamers, it's going to be up to you how far you can actually push those graphics. But yeah, check this out right here. Yes, Diablo 4 has gone gold, which means do not expect any more delays. They say see you in Sanctuary on June 6, 2023. I wanted to talk about that a little bit more because that's not going to be the case for everyone, because you have to remember on June 1st at 4 p.m. PD time, a lot of you will be able to access the game. So check this out right here. For early access, if you order the Deluxe Edition or that Ultimate Edition, you will be able to access the game at 4 p.m. PT time on the US West Coast. Here are the times for you. You can pause the screen if you really need to look into this as well. But for the Standard Edition, if you are wondering, here are the release time schedules right here as well. So it starts as early as June 5th for US West Coast Diablo 4 users. So keep that in mind going forward. All right, so we got to talk about those supposed Paladin teases. We have further responses from Blizzard, but we got to tell the full story. So if you missed it, it started out right here. It says this: I didn't see anything in there about letting barbarians use shields. The response from Rod Ferguson was there's a reason for that, and everyone chimed in thinking that this was kind of a tease to a new class, to the Paladin being added to the game post-launch, which I think is kind of a good assessment of the situation. I get where people are coming from. However, I have a new response from Rod. Now, the Angry Taco, first of all, says this: Rod, you made me internet famous for a minute, seeing my name show up on Osmongold's channel. Rod Ferguson replied saying, LOL, but damn it, I wasn't trying to tease. I was just trying to say that the reason that you didn't see anything about barbarians using shields was because we're leaning into the weapon master fantasy of them using 4 weapons, and so they can't use a shield. Sorry for the confusion. So yeah, there's a clarification about that one, but it's not like he outright said no to Paladin. He certainly did not take that direction with the post. So honestly, I'm expecting a class like the Paladin to be in the game post-launch for this one because of all the evidence we've seen previously. So I would expect some sort of shield spear user in the future for an upcoming class for sure. But let me know what you guys would like to see, if you would prefer it to be like an Amazon. Many of you were like, no, I don't want the Amazon. We've already got the Rogue. The Rogue is pretty much like the Amazon. So give us the Paladin, if anything. All right, now it's time to go over your top comments. Remember, leave a comment down below. It could end up right here in a future video. Let's do this. My most recent video was this one right here. They just removed a key features. Fans are not happy. All new updates. So yeah, the feature they actually are not going to be having in Diablo 4 at launch is that dungeon reset button. And it seems like for the most part, many of you are actually not upset about this. Let's see what you guys had to say about this one. Peter the Destroyer says, excellent content, my man. I check YouTube every day for your updates. I won't miss the reset dungeon feature. I'm sure once in-game hits, we'll be grinding the dungeons they made specifically for the in-game character builds. Also, I think on the PvP front, one simple way to deal with fairness or balance would be to dial back player-on-player damage across the board by a fixed percentage. That way, it just isn't possible to be one-shotted. If you get chunked and it's 20 to 30% of your HP instead of, say, 50 to 90%, of HP lost, that gives you time to fight and box the other player for a bit, spamming potions and dodge roll. Personally, I want to enjoy every facet of the game has to offer. I agree. I hope that, despite them saying that it's not going to be the most balanced experience in PvP multiplayer, I really hope that there is some sort of balance with this one. Again, I do expect to run into those crazy builds in PvP that you just cannot survive, or you look at that build and you go, I got to figure out how he did that. So I think PvP is going to be this way of showing off your build. Really showcase it to everyone in the world. That's what PvP I think is going to be about. But yeah, there's also going to be really cool rewards in there as well. All right, Cyber Dargan says this right here. He says, I feel like the best way to fix dungeons is to have it so the dungeon only resets after you have defeated the final boss of that dungeon. And he got a lot of upvotes on that one. It seems like a lot of you agree with that. And you know what? I agree, and I get where Blizzard is coming from with not having the reset dungeon button in the game, just because of the fact that they feel like hardcore players would exploit avoiding that final boss and just reset before getting to the final boss. So I get their concern there, but yeah, your solution also really does make sense as well. Now, Shadow Blades goes on to say this right here. The only thing they also don't talk about is going to the hub world, then going back to the dungeon, which would reset it, or finish the dungeon and exiting it. Then log out and log back in, which would reset it and set you back where you were. I imagine this would get fixed, but if it doesn't, there you go. I did this in the beta and didn't know there was a reset button in the menu system screen until now. Sneaky, sneaky. I don't know if they're going to have some sort of fix for that or not, or just keep it as is, but I feel like everyone's going to have to get super creative to try to replay these dungeons. Again, my assessment of this is they really want to encourage you to venture out there and form a party, form a clan, and work together with a group of people to go out there and try to like farm together and play the dungeons over and over again. That experience, for some weird reason, it seems like they're just trying to push co-op a lot more than usual. Now, Jared Kenny Jr. says, thank you so much for keeping us all up to date on any and all Diablo 4 news. It's all I can think since playing the beta. I've been playing Diablo 2 Resurrected, to kill the time until June 2nd and 6th. Yeah, I was actually playing that yesterday, and it's interesting going to that from the Diablo 4 beta. It makes you realize how much things have progressed, but it also gives you the nostalgia feel. I will say this, though, I'm super impressed with what Blizzard was able to pull off for Diablo 2 Resurrected in terms of visuals. It makes me go back to the game even more, and it makes me also want to go back to games like StarCraft. I want a new StarCraft so bad. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Stay tuned here for more open world gaming goodness, and I have you guys covered on all things Diablo 4. You better believe it. But thanks for watching, and I will see you all next time.